The song speaks on a very profound level. It could be seen as melancholy, it could be seen as a little mournful, it could also be uplifting, it can also be triumphant. And I think that's the beauty of the song.
It was an inspiration, I'll tell you that. When you heard it just coming down the tunnel, you know, and 50,000 fans singing their hearts out.
The emotion that is attached to that song and the fervour with which the fans sing it. I defy anybody, if you play it just now, to listen to it and not be affected by it.
When You Never Walk Alone's in full flow in that terrace, there's no better place to be.
It's a song with its own momentum. Once it starts, no matter what mood you start in to sing it, by the end of it, you can't help but be up there, you can't help but be floating, celestial.
You'll Never Walk Alone, the most iconic song in the sporting world, recognised by millions as the anthem of Liverpool Football Club. Here on the famous Kop at Anfield, generations of fans have sung it with pride. What is it about You'll Never Walk Alone that puts it at the very heart of Liverpool Football Club? Why did the Liverpool fans adopt this particular song, a song that's helped shape the club both on and off the pitch and has given it a worldwide identity?
It does express the vicissitudes of being a football fan. You hope for the best and expect the worst. That's a football fan. I just love the fact that we sing that song. I just love it.
It's about someone being there for you, basically, or people being there with a helping hand. You'll never walk alone. I think we all need that at some stage.
Sort of took it to the heart, it seemed to fit the bill. I don't know the real reason why, it was just seemed the natural thing to sing.
I think it was Liverpool Football Club and You'll Never Walk Alone went hand in hand. Everybody associated, and those were the proud moments. It's when you think everybody's talking about us, is that this is meant for each other.
It's a song that's inspired many, and not just in football. To unravel the story, we have to go back to the beginning, to the golden age of the musical. By 1945, Broadway, New York was the beating heart of the cultural world. Its neon-soaked streets famously lined with theatres, cinemas, dance halls and clubs. The hottest ticket in town was musical theatre, and Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein were about to put their stamp on the golden age of the musical.
Let's remember that when Carousel premiered on Broadway in the early spring of 1945, the war was still going on here. VE Day wasn't until May of 1945, and VJ Day, Victory in Japan, wasn't until August of 45. So when audiences came to the Majestic Theater on 44th Street on Broadway in New York City to see the new Rodgers and Hammerstein show, every member of that audience was affected by the war. So to have a story where the protagonist dies and then he comes back from heaven to tell his family how much he loved them, you can imagine what that meant to a post-war audience.
Even before they teamed up in 1943, Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein were successful songwriters. Together, they would become the most famous songwriting partnership in the world, producing an unrivaled body of work that includes South Pacific, The King and I, and The Sound of Music.
it's a quite remarkable collaboration between two men who had had a terrific amount of experience by the time they actually first worked together. Carousel was the second show of Rodgers and Hammerstein, and following Oklahoma, which had been a huge success for them.
Carousel is set in 1870s Maine and tells an unconventional story filled with scenes of poverty, crime and suicide, which fuel the show's bold themes of life, death and redemption. Many of Carousel's songs would go on to be famous in their own right, but none more so than the poignant showstopper You'll Never Walk Alone.
Carousel deals with some very big issues, life and death, and in the middle of the second act, Billy Bigelow, the protagonist, kills himself. Rodgers and Hammerstein were remarkable because the songs in their musicals come out of the story, come out of the characters, and because of their genius, many of those songs have taken on lives of their own, You'll Never Walk Alone being one of their most famous examples. It seems like it was from a Protestant hymnal from 500 years ago. It was written by Oscar Hammerstein II. It was very carefully crafted in 1944, 1945, and Richard Rodgers gave it that beautiful melody.
Walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed.
Rodgers and Hammerstein were the biggest force on Broadway when Broadway was the biggest force in popular entertainment. So what happened on Broadway affected American television, American film, American radio, which certainly affected British and European popular culture.
In 1956, Carousel would repeat its Broadway success on the silver screen. Twentieth Century Fox's lavish production became a smash hit.
Carousel in general would have been a very well-known film because it would have been on in all the cinemas. And this is back in the days when everybody went out to the pictures. There wasn't that much else to do, really. You know, cinema had a very dominant part in people's lives. And because the tunes, as always with Rodgers and Hammerstein, every single tune became a standard. There'd be pub singers, there'd be people on TV, on the London Palladium shows, singing nearly every single song off every Rodgers and Hammerstein musical that came out.
Like most Rodgers and Hammerstein songs, the top artists of the day began singing and recording versions of You'll Never Walk Alone, nearly all of which remained faithful to the original arrangement.
When you walk through a storm, keep your chin high and don't.
On one level is extraordinarily simple. On another level is expressing something really very deep and very, very profound. And I think that is the all-encompassing genius of Rodgers and Hammerstein.
It's got that sort of emotional, intimate feeling about it, almost as if it's like a stream of consciousness that's going through the person who's singing its mind.
But the thing about You Never Walk Alone is it's actually very unspecific. No one is named, you're neither male or female. There's no real storyline even. It's just about hope. It's about something getting better. It's about it's going to get better than this.
It actually, I think, ticks all the boxes for a singer who's looking for a standard to add to their repertoire.
Broadway may well run the length of Manhattan, but in the autumn of '63 it extended right across the Atlantic to another famous theatre, here at the Cop.
Liverpool in the early 60s was probably quite an optimistic sort of place. People had come through the 30s, the depression that come through the war and the aftermath of the war, things were really started to pick up again in the 1950s. And by the 1960s, the place was feeling very prosperous.
Liverpool in the early 60s was a vibrant port city on the verge of a renaissance. Factories were bustling, football was thriving, and the music industry was booming. The city's youth were enjoying a newfound confidence, which was most evident in Merseybeat, an explosive new sound which was set to top the charts and put Liverpool on the worldwide map.
It was a musical city at a communal level, at a back parlour and pub level, let alone football grounds. It was a place where people had sing-songs. But Liverpool itself wasn't really talked about in national media until 62, 63, and these two amazing things begin to occur. You know, one is Shankly's football team, the other is the Beatles and the other acts.
It was a wonderful city to be in with that, because, as I say, the music just was incredible because it became worldwide.
Somehow it all gels because Liverpool start an amazing run of success. The Beatles transform the whole face of music as we know it. And don't forget, Everton were doing equally well. Merseyside was top of the charts and top of the footballing charts. There's no doubt about it that the terrace culture really tried hard and I think succeeded in capturing some of that energy of Liverpool.
Emerging from this revolutionary new sound were the Beatles, who had their first hit in late 1962. But it was another local band, Gerry and the Pacemakers, who'd become the first Merseybeat group to have a #1 hit with How Do You Do in April 1963. In July of that year, they booked into the Abbey Road studios in London to record their version of You'll Never Walk Alone.
When you walk through a storm, hold your hand.
Gerry and the Pacemakers were regarded as being just about as successful as the Beatles. You know, it's only to us, with the benefits of many decades of hindsight, that we think of Gerry and the Pacemakers as being kind of also-rans compared to the great legends that are the Beatles.
Gerry Marsden was loved and revered in this city. You know, at the time, Gerry and the Pacemakers and the Beatles were competing with each other to see who could have, you know, the bigger career, more #1s.
In the movie, and in the original, you know, kind of versions, it's almost like a hymn, you know. It's not quite a spiritual, not with that kind of passion of a spiritual, but it's a hymnal, you know. And the one thing Gerry and the people who did it subsequently did was put a little bit of, you know, swing and a little bit of phrasing in it that grooved it up a little bit. Gerry sings it real reverence and with real beauty. It's very, and it's well, what's the word? The tone of the whole song, he sings exactly right. He doesn't overdo anything, he doesn't undersell anything. So there's a natural affinity then. If one of our lads can sing that, we can all go with it.
The song was released in October 1963, and by the end of the month it would top the UK pop charts. That would prove to be a significant moment for both the song and for Liverpool Football Club.
That my idea was to build Liverpool into a bastion of invincibility, you know, like Napoleon had that idea, he would conquer the bloody world, you know. And that's what I wanted, that Liverpool would be untouchable.
In 1959, Bill Shankly was appointed manager of Liverpool. The club had been languishing in the second division since 1954. His mission was to return them to the top flight.
The turning point in the beginning of the whole affair was the signing of Ian St John and Ron Yeats. Start the season 1 and 2 in the second division. I think that was the beginning, yes. No doubt about that.
from being relegated and in the second division for the latter part of the 1950s with a side that's really not going anywhere. They've suddenly got this amazing manager who's like, in many ways, Mourinho is a classic example of a modern day Shankly. You know, he was full of himself. He wisecracked. He made jokes. He pulled the leg of the opposition. He could probably wind up the opposition big time, but he was fun. He was entertaining. He was quotable, but he was also dedicated and knew what he wanted.
When you see Bill Shankly interviewed, and he was just so charismatic, he really was, and Liverpool people took to him. I could never praise this man highly enough, I really can't, because he made promises and he fulfilled them promises.
Shankly brought with him a self-belief for which the club would become famous. And in 1962, Liverpool were promoted back to the First Division.
I mean, he was a master of PR, you know. I mean, when he came in and he said, I've come here because I know they've got the greatest crowd in the world, you know. And he said, you know, we want the greatest team because they deserve it. And, you know, so he built the fans up. He very much from day one, he built the fans up as part of the family.
Okay, he loved the players, but most of all, he loved the fans. Before every game, he used to go to the Kop and just hold his hands up like that, you know.
He was quite a socialist, even if not in a very explicitly political way. He was just steeped himself in those West of Scotland principles of community and solidarity.
Well, first and foremost, the team was special. You know, the atmosphere was just electric. It was just the place to be. You know, and Shankly was, as I said before, he was iconic. He was like a god. When he spoke, everyone listened.
The Spine Club at Liverpool is an institution. And if you're a member of the Kop, you feel as if you're a member of a big society, where you've got thousands of friends all around about you. And they're united and loyal.
By 1962, the Kop was making itself heard, establishing a reputation for a unique matchday atmosphere.
You know, we'd go on the right-hand side of the Kop, at the back of the goal. Well, when there was an attack or the ball went out for a corner over the left-hand side, the right-hand side of the Kop just went swarming down, and that's what happened. There was a state of flux all the time.
When I was really young, we used to, we used to try and get on the wall down at the front of the Kop. And so you'd have to get there, like, literally waiting for the gates to open, you know, the turnstiles to open. We'd be first through with my mates. And so we're probably there, like, I think the gates opened about 2 hours before kick-off.
It was a challenge being in there, you know, when it was swaying. You know, a lot of the old fellas in the Kop used to sit me on the bar so I was safe because I was only small, and it was a challenge to stay in the same place because, you know, when there was a corner or attack on goal, the whole Kop would sway forward. There was a lot of movement in there, but it was a special experience to stand on the Kop when it was standing.
I'd get there at 1:30, get me programme, get me barrier, and just watch the day unfold. Couldn't wait to be singing a song. Love singing, you know, Walk On before the game, and enjoy Liverpool winning nearly every time.
My eyes were just transfixed onto the Kop, watching this swaying and everything and the singing and all. It was just astonishing. It was where you wanted to be. It was where your heart was. You know, your mind was on the football and everything, but your heart was being dragged towards the Kop.
You know, when you think back to those days, it's just about running out to a full house with a noise. And the great thing about the noise at Anfield, and this was before the days of singing, whatever, when you crossed the halfway line on an attack, the roar went up. It got bigger and bigger as you got towards your opponent's goal. The roar was tremendous.
The roar from the Kop didn't yet involve the singing of songs, but the televised World Cup in Chile 1962 helped to shape a new sound.
Do you remember the chant that came from the World Cup?
Yes.
Go on.
I'm embarrassed. You want me to do it?
You don't have to do it, but talk about it.
until the start of 63, 64. I think that was the basis of what we had. The Liverpool clap, 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 the St John Anne clap, occasionally chants of Rowdy Yates, and the Saints go marching, and I think that was about it.
In my recollection, the singing started around that time with the Liverpool sound, the music in Liverpool. Of course, the Beatles were just coming through at the time, but there was other groups as well, and they would take little clips of something what they'd been singing. I mean, the Beatles one, She Loves You, was great for them, you know, we love you, yeah.
Prior to the 60s, there was very little in the form of pre-match entertainment. But in 1962, something happened which would change the atmosphere forever. And it came in the form of a brand new public address system. Before every match, the Tannoy would blast out the top 10 hits to a packed stadium.
The songs came through and everything, and everybody just bang, hit it. You know, She Loves You, yeah, everybody was there. So it was a fantastic time sort of to be a Liverpool fan, not just because of the football, but because of the music industry. It was the centre of the universe.
That era of 63, 64 was a massive explosion of Merseyside music. So the charts were inundated anyway with, you know, local music. So it was inevitable that a lot of the songs that were played at the time would be of local bands.
In April 1964, Liverpool won the league title for the first time in 16 years, sealed with a 5-0 victory against Arsenal at Anfield. Press and TV coverage of that match alerted the rest of the country to what had been happening on the Kop. This footage from the BBC's Panorama programme in 1964 shows just how much Liverpool had fused music with football. This was the birth of a new terrace culture.
An anthropologist studying this Kop crowd would be introduced into as rich and mystifying a popular culture as in any South Sea island. Their rhythmic swaying is an elaborate and organised ritual.
Now famous for its voice, the Kop would ring out with songs. Top 10 hits, nursery rhymes, show tunes and even hymns could be heard both before and during the game, often with improvised lyrics. However, one song would remain unaltered.
Can't put a finger on it and say that was the first time I heard it, you know, but because it was all intermingling with the Liverpool sounds, the chants, the whole thing, and it was just a sort of gradual build-up of everything that was going to become permanent. And how they picked it up and started, who knows?
The definitive explanation as to why the song was first adopted may now be lost to time. The real question is why You'll Never Walk Alone endured.
A lot of the people on the Kop were from Liverpool docks, a lot of them. And they worked for the nationalised industry, and there was a lot of politics going on at the time, shop stewards movements and all the rest of it. The Kop would never sing a song and keep up with it if they could not identify with it. In my opinion, it's a social song.
In my memory of the song, it began as a fairly unambiguous message of support to the team that was about to come out onto the pitch, you know, and what better lift could 11 men hope for than to get that song sung by as many people as were on that terrace.
She Loves You, great song, Beatles, you know, the favorite sons of this city. But it doesn't go as deep as You'll Never Walk Alone. It's a pop song. You'll Never Walk Alone, as we know, transcended the whole pop thing and took on a character all its own.
Most football songs are short and sweet and to the point. It's a compliment to Liverpool that they had enough success, that people had time to learn quite difficult songs. If Liverpool hadn't built from the Shankly glory, there's a chance those songs wouldn't have stayed around, because if they got relegated the next season, there would have been a lot of walking alone.
Far from being relegated, Liverpool would go on to a period of unrivalled success. Having delivered the league in '64, Shankly would take the team to even greater heights. The following season, they reached Wembley with a chance of winning their first ever FA Cup, the holy grail of English football.
And Liverpool signature tune of Never Walk Alone, rising from the terraces.
I think it was Liverpool Football Club and You'll Never Walk Alone went hand in hand. Everybody associated, and those were the proud moments. But when you think everybody's talking about us, is that this is meant for each other.
Wonderful singing by the Anfield Choir.
With little time to recover, Liverpool were involved in another huge game just 3 days later. A European Cup semi-final against the reigning champions, Inter Milan.
Hunt is onside. Yes. A great save as St. John has scored. And that could put Liverpool in the final.
You can never forget the Inter Milan game, you know, when we come back after the Cup. I think that, I mean, people go on about St. Etienne match being the best atmosphere, but I still think the Inter Milan game is by far the noisiest atmosphere.
Well, I've never heard words like that to Santa Lucia before in my life.
Go back to Italy. Because we had totally outclassed a brilliant team. Whereupon we got beat 3-0 in the away leg.
The song was now integral to the club's ongoing success. It gave the team and the supporters something that no other club had.
It was an inspiration, I'll tell you that. When you heard it just coming down the tunnel, you know, and 50,000 fans singing their hearts out, it really was uplifting.
When you're walking out with Liverpool kit on, you shouldn't need a song to motivate you, but when you Never Walk Alone's in full flow in that terrace, there's no better place to be.
I think it does give you that extra 10%, but it's also what it can do to the opposition. It's not just what it does for yourself. You think of how the opposition feel walking out at Anfield hearing that song, and hopefully it takes 10% away from them, and that's the part that supporters play.
It's the hope of the song, you know. And there's actually the words in it, hope in your heart. It's not only an emotional song in that respect, it's looking to the future. So everyone likes to look to the future and thinks things will get better, or there should be some hope for the future. It was when Shankly came back in '71, and When You Never Walk Alone was sung that day. It meant something more than it meant in the '60s when we were successful, because we've been beaten. You know, as kids, you're in tears when you see losing the cup final, but then Shankly did that rallying cry, and then you hear the crowd sing You Never Walk Alone. You thought, you know, we've got hope here.
Because it's a very slow song, it can be picked up by a crowd, and the delay that is inherent in a crowd picking up a song can be coped with by this slow song. There's time for the people to catch up with this.
Well, the experienced Copites would know to sing it, start low, because by the time you get to the chorus, they'd be straining, you know.
As long as most of the people in a crowd, as long as you've got a big enough crowd, as long as most of them get the tune roughly right, if some people are singing slightly flat or completely monotone or slightly sharp or just shouting, it has a weird effect. It doesn't ruin the basic tune. It makes the tune sound bigger. It makes the crowd sound bigger. piece of craftsmanship that goes beyond the tricks in it, you know. And the greatest trick you can have with any good song is not noticing that there are all kinds of little things that pull you up emotionally and drag you this way and move you a certain way, and it does it with ease.
It's not switching back and forth like a normal pop song, which is verse, chorus, middle eight, verse, chorus, you know. You'll Never Walk Alone is just one thing.
It has an A phrase.
And don't be afraid of the dark. And it goes from a G major to a minor. It's out of nowhere. It dramatises it. It brings in a kind of almost a darkness, you know. And it changes the key of the song.
And then a B phrase which has rhythmic elements which are the same. But in terms of its melody, it's different.
At the end, and then another minor chord of the storm, there's a golden, but the sadness kind of resolves quite quickly into the golden sky, kind of sweet. But then this really, and the sweet silver song, and that's all right. And then it's like thunder from heaven, you know.
Then there's a C with the song.
It's almost reassurance, you know. The walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, and then so it's up to rain, though your dreams be tossed. And even that sad chord with tossed, there's something about that. And blown, and that blown is almost like, right, you know what's coming next, the big bit, even if you'd never heard that song before.
It has a D, which again starts with this in the same, rhythmically, as though it's going to be the same. With hope in your heart. And then he repeats the notes while the bass climbs. Then he throws in the leap.
You'll never, which is up there. And it starts down, you know, when you walk. And by the end, you've gone, you know, it's ridiculous that most people wouldn't even dare tackle a song like that. It's a remarkable climax. And then, just to make sure you know, you sing it again. Walk on. But obviously, because now you've heard it, it's the only time you repeat yourself, so it's almost like a more confident walk on. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. It's just an amazing piece of songwriting.
Parallel to Shankly's revolution, Jock Stein was working a similar magic north of the border with Celtic, having taken over the managerial reins in 1965.
Bill Shankly and Big Jock were very alike. They had the same lifestyle. You know, I'm talking about their married life. Their married life, well, they were married to football and they had a wife.
It was widely known then that both the Big Jock and Shanks had similar backgrounds from the mining communities, although different parts of Scotland. They were both similar backgrounds.
Jock had it all. He was magnificent, you know. We won the league, and then they won the league for nine years in a row after that. So the fans just were over the moon. They thought Jock was Jesus Christ superstar, which he was. As a manager, he was terrific.
In 1966, both clubs met in the semi-final of the Cup Winners' Cup. The second leg at Anfield is still talked about as one of the great European nights, remembered for the special atmosphere and the passionate singing of You'll Never Walk Alone.
The rendition of that at Anfield, when we played Liverpool at Anfield, Whether the Celtic support were joining in with the Liverpool supporters, I don't know. But they were singing it and it sounded as if the whole park was...
But the atmosphere was just unbelievable. Yeah, because it was Celtic and Jock Stein and Bill Shankly.
The bond was expressed then, the bond was formed then. I mean, there was huge respect, you know, these were equally fervent fans.
When you come out the tunnel at Celtic Park, the ground, the bit facing you was called the jungle, which was a wee bit strange because most of the supporters at other teams were behind a goal. But that was the jungle, and that was where historically the most of the Celtic supporters would be.
And the jungle was just unbelievably fantastic, you know. It was like the Co-op in Liverpool. It was like the very same as that. And you wouldn't go anywhere else. After you've been in the jungle, you wouldn't go anywhere else. The songs I remember was Sure It's a Grand Old Team. Glenn Daly sang that. And they still have that at the beginning of every game. And they used to write songs about the team.
Today, You'll Never Walk Alone is also widely recognised as the anthem of Celtic Football Club. But there's still some debate as to when they first started to sing it.
When you look at other clubs singing You Never Walk Alone, I think Celtic is one of the few clubs you can really say has got a genuine heritage of singing it. Perhaps it's started in '67 with their first European success.
The first time I can pinpoint it was the Celtic versus Leeds European Cup semi-final at Hampden Park in April 1970. I'm sure it was during that season was the first time that You'll Never Walk Alone began to be sung at Celtic Park, and after the Leeds game, you know, it became a kind of standard battle song. Sometimes, although we won on that occasion, it was often a song that it was a song of defiance that you would sing in defeat to show that, you know, although things are tough now, we're still with you.
You know, it's a fantastic feeling and inspirational, and then it gets your adrenaline going, you know, for during the game, and it's certainly something that, you know, is appreciated by the players without question. You know, on the part, you know, to get that kind of support from a song like that, it's certainly something that is held dearly to them all.
Jock Stein's Celtic won the Scottish League title 9 years in a row and went on to win the European Cup in 1967. Between them, Liverpool and Celtic ensured that You'll Never Walk Alone was heard throughout Britain and Europe. After Bill Shankly's retirement in 1974, Bob Paisley took Liverpool to even greater heights. A whole new generation of fans found themselves singing You'll Never Walk Alone in every corner of Europe.
The European nights are unbelievable. I think just because of the darkness, I think, and the floodlights, and in those days it was quite unique to get a European team over and play. But the atmosphere generated was frightening.
Every player will tell you a night game is a little bit special, a bit more due on the pitch, faster paced game, and I think the support get right behind that as well, you know, the intensity of the game, and Europe's something that it's not every week.
I remember going out, you know, to have a look at the pitch and everything else before the game, and seeing, you know, it was just massive red flags, and it was just unbelievable.
Liverpool dominated in Europe, winning the European Cup 4 times between 1977 and 1984.
It's one of those things which shows a togetherness with the team. It's never been as evident as it was in 2005.
In 2005, Liverpool travelled to Istanbul for a momentous European Cup final with AC Milan. By half-time, they were 3-0 down with a mountain to climb.
You're 3-0 down, you think your dream's in tatters. You're probably waiting for the half-time whistle and waiting for a chorus of boos from your fans because you've let them down, you've let yourself down. You've being totally played off the park for 45 minutes.
Everyone was gutted. But then when I went back up to my seats, I just heard it like break out in a couple of little parts of the stadium. Before you knew it, everyone was singing it. But like it was a real passionate version of it, you know. It was like, it was a rallying cry. It was like a cry for help type of thing, you know what I mean? It was like a prayer.
And then you hear the chorus of "You'll Never Walk Alone," and probably the loudest and most emotional rendition I've ever heard as a player.
Everybody's got a huge role to play at the football club, and that day the supporters probably played the biggest role of all at half time. It's them telling you they've still got hope and they still believe in you.
We used that song to lift the players and lift ourselves, and there was still hope in our hearts type of thing, as it says in the song. And, you know, as long as you've got hope, you've got something.
Singing at half-time, players obviously thought, we've got to do something here. We can't let this just slide and become, you know, a horrendous defeat. And again, I think you're quite right. I think the song just lifted everybody. And they went out in the second half and they get the one. And then expectations start, and, you know, come on. And then 2 and 3 and the whole thing finished with the cup.
That to me was a sort of unique togetherness of club. Just going like that, we need each other. No, the players needed the fans needed the players. This was everybody coming together, and it was as though it was coming from all around the world. Every Liverpool fan was there and going, we need help. No other football club would have ever have won that game without the help of the fans and that song that day.
For almost 30 years, the song had been associated with success. But in April 1989, You'll Never Walk Alone became something much more profound. In Britain's worst sporting disaster, 96 Liverpool fans lost their lives at Hillsborough. The song's message of hope and togetherness through times of adversity was never more appropriate.
John Paul Gilhooly, Barry Glover, Ian Thomas Glover, Derek George Godwin, Roy Harry Hamilton,
As well as being a footballing song, it also filled a huge void for people who'd lost somebody at Hillsborough. After the services, most of the times the coffin was carried out, the people walked out to You'll Never Walk Alone. So it was a motive for many reasons. Footballing was one of them, but not the most important.
It's about adversity and, you know, people supporting each other, people coming together and supporting each other when you are at your wit's end, when you are at your lowest.
At a particular time, you needed something. People do need, in times of terrible tragedies and stress and whatever, they do need something to hang on to and to be united behind something.
The words in the song can be applied to so many different situations in life, and Hillsborough is definitely one of them. You know, and a lot of people probably found solace in the song after it and listen to the music, listen to the words, and it has a lot of significance.
You know, it also helps you remember the people that we lost, you know, in the tragedy. I had a relation that you know never come back from Hillsborough. So I suppose the song since the tragedy has become that little bit more emotional, a little bit more special.
In the immediate aftermath of Hillsborough, it was impossible to imagine how the club could move forward. The sheer scale of the disaster had brought the club and the city to its knees. But in Liverpool's hour of need, an old friend ensured that the club and its fans would never walk alone.
Football didn't matter anymore at that point. Celtic Football Club and the Celtic fans opened their arms and opened the doors and said, come and play this memorial game. And that for me and for many of us who went there was the beginning of the healing process.
I think the greatest advert for the two clubs and the proof that it meant a lot to both of them was when we went up and played the Hillsborough game. That was unbelievable. 60,000 green and white scarves, red and white, and amongst each other singing. It was unbelievable.
You know, that sums it up, you know, the game, the Hillsborough Memorial game here at Celtic Park way back then, and it just sums up what that song means to both clubs.
It was the most beautiful, amazing version of You'll Never Walk Alone that I think I've ever heard. And there was no segregation at all. And the scarves were intermingled, the red and white and the green and white. And this unbelievable rendition of You'll Never Walk Alone, which it then, at that point, from that moment on, it become a hymn.
There was few people didn't have tears in their eyes while that was being sung. I mean, even the hardest guys that work in the building sites and shipyards had tears in their eyes.
I don't ever seen the cops singing it, which I loved, and you get emotional. I've cried to it many times, daftly, but you do that when you're passionate about football. But when I've seen Celtic sing it, and I've been there since, absolutely magnificent.
Nobody could have written lyrics more appropriate to that terrible, terrible sense of loss and suffering, and indeed ongoing suffering that this city and its people knew, particularly as a result of Hillsborough.
It's a fantastic song. It's very emotional. It's too emotional for me now. I'll be quite truthful. I've never ever sung it since Hillsborough. I stand there when they sing it and I get too emotional to sing it.
You listen to it deeper and you thought about it a little bit more, you know, each time, and I think it's very fitting that, you know, after what happened, that Liverpool Football Club should have that song.
It was a rallying cry years ago, in the 60s and 70s, you know, it was it was a rallying cry, it was there for everybody to come together and to win the football match. But now it's different. Now I sing it with a lump in my throat, thinking about Hillsborough.
And it gets me emotional even now thinking about it. Every time I hear the fans sing it, it sends shivers down your spine. Because as I've said before, it means so much to the families. It means so much to them fans. And it's just the words. The words are so appropriate for the 96.
Adding further pain to the loss, the families and the people of Liverpool had to fight for 23 years to uncover the truth surrounding the disaster.
Because we haven't had the justice yet. Yes, we've had the truth, which is fantastic. It's fantastic for the fans, fantastic for the city, but we've not had the justice yet. So every time that song's sung, I'll always say, that's a step closer. We're getting closer every time it's sung. They're making us get closer to the justice that we deserve.
I think Rodgers and Hammerstein would be astonished and surprised and ultimately quite proud that You'll Never Walk Alone, with the power of a hymn and with the power in some ways to heal, has been used over the decades by many extraordinary, valuable movements, political movements, spiritual movements, because it's a song that people gravitate to. What is also astonishing is that what started with Jerry and the Pacemakers in Liverpool, what then moved to the Liverpool team, has now, of course, gravitated throughout Britain and throughout Europe.
I've played in Europe many, many times where the Liverpool fans have started the song and the rest of the stadium's joined in, and there's been scarves swaying all the way around the stadium. Thousands and thousands of people join in.
It's not a song that's derogatory towards your opponents for a start, and it's not even a song that's with the words Liverpool in, so a lot of people can relate to it and enjoy it without even thinking about football. They could just sit and think, that's a nice song,
It's hard to speak on behalf of a global fan base, but I could imagine that if you're on the other side of the world and you're growing up thinking that you love Liverpool Football Club, this song is a very easy way to identify with Liverpool. But imagine if you just come from Japan, you've only ever seen it on the television, you know that you stand up, you lift your scarf up and you can sing along. Suddenly you're part of that family.
It's sung at football games in other parts of the world, at graduations, at wedding ceremonies. I think it's a pretty simple explanation. It goes back to the message in the song.
It's now been 50 years since You'll Never Walk Alone was first sung here on the Kop. In many ways, the swinging 60s brought this city to the attention of the world. The Merseybeat sound helped to define popular music, and its legacy lives on in the Beatles. But alongside Lennon and McCartney, two other great composers will always be revered in Liverpool: Richard Rodgers and Oscar Hammerstein. The power of their song, along with the passion of the fans, has elevated You'll Never Walk Alone to one of the great sporting anthems in the world. And as long as Liverpool Football Club exists, the song will live on.
It's a song that is imbued with memory and passion and hope for the future.
Walk on through the wind. Walk on.
There is still something primal and holy about that song, that when people gather in times of tragedy, but again also in times of great triumph, that's a song that comes from the heart.
Other teams sing it. They sing it in Holland, they sing it in Glasgow, they sing it in various places. You never walk alone. But it was instigated here.
At moments of grief and sorrow and stress and the need to fight back and things like that, you never walk alone.
It covers adversity and sadness, and it covers the success. It's all about helping each other. It helps when you're going onto a pitch to know that they're right behind you. It helps when you're struggling on a pitch, and it helps when you're winning, that you know that you've made them happy. So it covers everything that he needs to cover, and the song is covered by You'll Never Walk Alone.